Hi everyone, welcome to the 2023 Musher Garden. We didn't do it last year because we didn't do anything with the garden. We let the weeds take over. But anyway, I wanted you guys to see how beautiful it looks with flowers and with weeds included for benefit, for the added feature. So Joe's gonna scan across the garden and point out the different areas, and you'll notice we have quite a variety of coleus that I selected this year. Our mother's favorite plant, and I just am entranced by them. I can't get enough of them. So enjoy it, and be on the lookout for the weeds. You'll see a lot of bindweed, but it's hiding, so I'm sure you'll see it. But anyway, enjoy. And there we have Joe's looking at the Shasta daisies, which Jackie originally gave me one plant, and they're all the children of that one plant. I did dig up quite a few this year because it was a wall of them, but to make room for other things. Then we have the daylilies that are in honor of my mother, and then more, as you can see, coleus over here, and there's more coleus on this other side too, which Joe will show you in a moment. Can't on that this week. That coleus, so they can see the beauty of. Yeah, show them the beauty of this grouping right here, sweetie, of coleus. This is a different look that I haven't seen before. And then over here on the right, I put some coleus. That is actually a hardy hibiscus, which I'm not sure which color. I think it's pink. That'll be coming out later. But I have coleus underneath here. And we'll move this way, sweetie. Then you'll see that I was inundated by yellow irises this year. I planted one. That's from one plant 4 or 5 years ago, so I've got to take those up. But anyway, we're continuing on down through the front garden here, and got more daisies. I don't know what, I can't remember what that little purple perennial is, but that's something I picked up this year. And then a border of daylily, the Shasta daisies, which I'm going to cut back once they bloom, so that you can see the coleus over there. And then there's the sprinkling of daylilies, some which were Shasta, Stelladora daylilies, which have already bloomed. And of course there's an occasional hostas. And then there's the background of hydrangeas, which rarely bloom. And when they do bloom, it's in September. There might be 1 or 2 blooms. There's a hardy hibiscus, which is going to be coming up. I think it's going to be white. And then down here behind these daisies, which I'm going to trim back, are some more coleus that will show eventually. Ah, plant fell over. And coleus there, and then these purple, whatever they are, I'm not sure what they are. Actually, that might be ice plant. Yeah, I think it's ice plant. Pink ice plant, actually. And then in the backdrop we have the burning bushes, will be nice and red come fall, which have just grown so big that they're actually blocking the window. So Joe wants to show you his squash patch. Ooh, I just saw one. Oh, I didn't see it this morning. There's one forming. Look at that, sweetie. Down there's the zucchini. So here's a squash patch. I did notice that there's a little bit of yellowing of the leaves, but hopefully that's just a natural thing. But this is really taken off here. One of the best locations to plant something. Okay, this bed was where a Rose of Sharon was for 20-something years, and it died back. So now we have, in the middle there is my pride and joy, the Pinky Winky hydrangea. And this year it's done wonderfully. The deer haven't gotten it, and so it's not as pink as I thought it would be. It should be a light pink. It may eventually turn pink, I think, as we get into fall. But we have the daylilies, which I put there years ago. They've come out, and then surrounded by the Shasta daisies. So actually, I sort of look on it now as a white garden in a way, but it really is pretty. I'm very pleased with it, including some of the grasses in there. I keep pulling it out, but it comes back. But anyway, I think that's very pretty. I just love this, the look of that hydrangea. It's gonna just be beautiful. These stand upright, and it's just, they'll turn into I think a little pink color come fall, and then they go into a deeper color, I think, as they, get into fall and everything. This is the front garden. We haven't been able to get to the road that's the trench there, and it's a pain in the butt to mow. But this includes, on the end, 2 Korean lilacs, which came from my mother's yard probably 30 years, well, actually 15 years ago, 17 years ago, right when she died. Then we have the Korean, peony. There's actually 2 of them. One is a pink, which I got free, and that bloomed, and then right next to it's going to be a red peony. Now this are the Korean beauty bushes. And the American beauty plant, it won't survive the winters here, but the Korean will. So I've got 2 of those. These have been in for probably about 10 years. And they'll have those little purple berries, which is so attractive. And I have 2 of them. They're doing well because we cut down the, what was that tree, sweetie, that we had?
Mulberry bush.
Mulberry bush. We had a mulberry tree that came in by itself and was a nuisance. So we cut that down. And then we have the other Korean beauty berry over here. And it's getting more light, so it's doing better. And then this is a Weigela, a variegated Weigela. And I had bought that, I don't know, one of the nurseries years ago, but that has pink on the edges. When it's growing, it'll have little pink ends. So it has a neat effect. Sort of like a snowball. And then of course this is the other Korean lilac from Mom's house. That literally was just a twig when I brought it from the house. Okay, this is the middle bed where the crabapple was, and it died from old age. So I have it surrounded by daylilies, which unfortunately the deer ate most of them. But in the middle is the hardy hibiscus. And this thing is amazing. All those little blooms are getting ready to bloom, and it's going to be cranberry red. And it is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Every year it gets taller and taller and thicker. I was hoping it would be a little bit more thick, but it's bigger and bigger than it has been and everything. So this bed's working out pretty good. Once you get the weeds out, it's pretty much low maintenance. And I did put some coleus here just to add a little bit of color. Oop, there's a clover coming in. It's everywhere. And you can see the wisteria is coming back. I got to pull that out. So here we are on the other side of the RV. This is known as the trailer garden. Someday I'm going to rename it, but it is just flourishing. And along the side here, you'll see the decorative grasses that were given to us by our neighbor. We planted them, and they're doing wonderfully. They'll be turning, blooming or whatever. The plumes will be coming up in September. But down yonder by the fence is the sunflowers. They're the mammoth Russian sunflowers, and they're going to, well, hopefully be at least 10 feet tall. They're headed that way, and those blooms will be appearing in the fall. But I'm just so happy they are growing nicely. And let's take a look at the trailer garden. Every year it's a little bit different because some things disappear. But what I did was, of course, all these daylilies are from Mom's yard, or not, the original plant was from Mom's yard. And pan down there, sweetie, this plant, and I can't remember what it's called, but it has those red tassels that look like are seeds, and actually you could eat it, this plant. But I thought it was so pretty, it added so much color with the yellow and the red. And then of course the coneflower came back and the white one came back, surprised me. And then we have a collection of weeds. But the Monarda, which just past their peak, unfortunately I didn't get out here earlier. And then down here we did have a big patch of yellow irises, which will be taken out significantly in the future so I can have more room. But down here is some more of that plant, that amaranth, I guess it's called, amaranth, that I planted to add some color. And of course the irises are going to seed, so I've got millions of seeds. They're going to happen. So I'm going to have to make sure. But anyway, I too dotted this with coleus. And here are the coleus, different color scheme of coleus right here. And I think they add so much to the contrast is great. The tall plant here I think is goldenrod. And that's because I wanted the garden, it came in by itself, but I wanted the garden to be like a wildflower, like a prairie. And so I left that. Joe, pan to the Queen Anne's lace. We think it's Queen Anne's lace from our research. But that came in by itself. And I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to keep it under control. But it adds so much texture to the garden. Plus the bees like it. And the insects like it. Go?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's some other coleus that I planted there. And of course, once the daylilies get past and the leaves subside and they flatten out, the coleus will be more observable. Butterfly milk, butterfly weed, which the butterflies love, that's populated. And I don't know if I can see it anymore, but there was one that was actually yellow that came in. The spike things, the purple spike things, are the blazing stars, which is also known as what's the other name for blazing stars? I've got the name. Anyway, that's the common for the prairie. And then of course a patch of daisies. And then Jackie gave me this variegated grass, which was a small patch. Becomes invasive, but I do love it because it has such a striking, and it's starting to go to seed. See the little plumes coming up? So that really adds a lot of texture to the scene. And of course I just love the daylilies. Now this color is intense. I don't remember how Mom ended up with them. Maybe Jackie remembers, because she used to have the frilly orange ones. We must have picked them up for her. But anyway, I just love the garden because it's a very natural look to it. And you can picture me by the sunflowers. You can see how tall they are. By me. I wanted to show you how tall the sunflowers have gotten. I'm 5 feet tall. And they're still growing. I may be growing sideways, but they're growing up. So I'm really pleased with them. This next year I think I'm going to plant more. There's going to be more around. And I put coleus down here. I don't know if some of them went to seed, but I thought that would add a color. And of course the sunflowers in the back. There's a Japanese beaver. Look at that. Not too much longer. He'll be around.
Looks like we're going to be able to eat a lot of greens this fall.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think we'll be lacking for tomatoes or kale this year. And as for the tomatoes, oh my God. Those tomatoes are the celebrities. And they're short, a 60-day production. And they're mid-size. They're early tomatoes. They're considered early. Then the squash back there is yellow squash. I think there might be one zucchini. I'm not sure, but I think it's basically yellow squash. And then you'll see the sunflowers. There are a different variety of sunflowers. Those are ones that will actually be sort of mauve in color. Whereas the Russian sunflowers are yellow, the typical classic yellow one. Those will be mauve. Now the robins love this area. Of course, we don't see one right now picking some blueberries. And this daylily is the one, was the original one type that Mom always had in her garden. The frilly orange daylily. Anyway, I wanted Joe to pan down this row of daylilies. No matter how hard I try to put something else in here, the daylilies take over, which is fine. I did put some trumpet lilies, I think they're called, which Joe loves that one. And of course, some of them disappeared. But a couple of them did survive, that maroon one did. And then this is where I had the spiderworts, which I sent pictures of to Jackie and everyone. And they were prolific. Matter of fact, there's a spiderwort right here that's in bloom again. And hidden among the plants is also, you know, the weeds too, jewelweed and some other thing. The Chinese lantern, those things came back, and of course the blazing stars, which I just absolutely love, absolutely love. But anyway, it has a nice effect. Of course, we have the bindweed. Can't get rid of that stuff. That comes in. And then over here we have the not heritage, what do they call? Brandywine. I always forget. Variety of tomatoes, which are the big ones. And finally, they're picking up some size. So those are later. I think that was a 100-day time frame for ripening and everything. But I think we're going to have a lot of tomatoes, or plenty for us. And more to give away, I guess, and freeze. Okay, this is the bed that used to, you know, it's a trouble bed. But over the years, it's improved, and I have it lined with the coleus, and then the monarda I have spread. I have a hardy hibiscus, which will bloom, which I think it's a red. And then I have other things, which there are daylilies back there that I got from one of my friends at work. Multicolored. There's a lilac which is coming back. I cut it back, and other things, sedum, and then I do have some astilbes back there, but they're since the irises became so large, they're hiding the astilbes. And there's also two Weigela, Brandywine, wine-colored Weigela, which are there, but you can't really see it well because it's small and it's, you know, being overshadowed. Cleomes came in from themselves because years ago I had cleome, so it's reseeded. So they're here. Oh my goodness, you see that daylily? There's one of the white, yellow center. Oh, that's beautiful. That's the one that I got from a friend at MSA whose mother is a horticulturist. And she had something like 30 or 40 varieties of daylilies. So this area used to be overshadowed by oak trees that kept it in the shade for most of the day. Well, we had the trees removed 2 or 3 months ago because they were so huge, and now it's opened up the area to light so things can grow more. So the daylilies are blooming more. Monarda's coming back. I'm sure will proliferate. And down here, in our bird feeder setup, oh my goodness, there are 3 of them. I did not intentionally plant these sunflowers, but I think because we have so much sunlight, they came in from the bird seed and they're growing, and it's fantastic. So anyway, these sunflower seeds were not planted. These are seeds that fell from the feeders and took root and grew, and it's fantastic. I didn't know they'd had multiple blooms on them, and I've never in the past had them grow as tall as this. Usually they grow, I don't know, maybe a foot if that, and then they get eaten off by something. But anyway, it's wonderful. They've taken off and they're growing, and it's added so much to the garden. It's just one of those pleasant surprises, you know. I did plant out some coleus back here because I was trying to, you know, plant some, and some Shasta daisies because they're pretty easy to grow. But I just love it. It's got a backdrop of daylilies, which unfortunately I think the deer ate quite a few of them, and they don't last that long anyway. But it's got a natural look to it, and it's added something to the area, a beauty. And of course I have the Irish Spring up to ward off the deer, because we saw 2 mama deers and 2 babies here multiple times. Anyway, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you the Texas mimosas that I grew. We collected the seeds from Somerville Lake and in the winter of 2021, and I just planted them this spring, and I got some of them to germinate. So I'm thrilled. So I'll be attempting to grow one of these, and I'll be bringing a couple up to Jackie and Roger so they can have a couple of them. But I love them. They have the yellow blooms, not the pink ones, but the yellow ones, known as the Texas mimosa. The patch of blueberry plants, was it 4 of them? And these are full of blueberries also. I got about 2 quarts the other day from here, but they're huge. And I just wanted Joe to photograph them so you can see. I have picked probably so far out of all these blueberry plants, I've probably picked 2 gallons of blueberries, and there's still more to go. And it's just so much fun. We're having blueberry waffles, blueberry pie, blueberry bread, blueberries on oatmeal, blueberries on yogurt, blueberries by themselves. We're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled because they're just so plentiful. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful that these blueberry plants have been here for 20 years, and they've survived everything, the dry summers and everything. So
and
anyway,
they're bug free.
And they're bug free. We have no bugs on them. We have no worms on them or anything. So it's just been a delight that to be able to go out and pick your own blueberries and everything. So thanks for watching the video. I thank you, Joe, for doing this. We'll follow up with another one later in the summer, early fall. But anyway, I wanted you guys to see what it looks like since you can't be here in person right now. Anyway, enjoy. Love ya.